Dinosaur number 8. Did I get the right date?
Yes, sir.
I did? Yay. 2023. Tonight, Whack an Atheist, Eugenie Scott. I don't know what happened. I saw the debate that I did 20 years ago with her. I thought, we need to whack that one more time. Okay. Eugenie Scott. So hang in there, Jeannie. You're coming up. Oh, let's see. I got to go over here and do this. No, there we go. Eugenie Scott. We're the folks who believe the Bible is true and evolution is dumb. Worse than dumb. Stupid. Worse than that. Dangerous. Okay. Genesis Baptist Church in Lenox, Alabama. I think I got it fixed here. Old-fashioned, independent, fundamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating, KJV, soul-winning Baptist church that believes the Bible is the infallible, inspired, inerrant word of the living God. Amen. Did I get it all in there? Yeah, okay. Bible says, be not deceived. Don't be deceived. Don't be tricked. This evolution theory is deceitful. There's no science behind it at all. God said, be not deceived. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. Come visit us, Dinosaur Adventure Land, Lenox, Alabama, right off the interstate, north of Pensacola, 70 miles. There we are. We think God ought to get the glory instead of the dumb evolution religion. You can see our 140-acre campus. See you take the tour. Debbie, did you get to go up and see the stars on the? Yeah. Isn't that amazing up there at night? Unreal. Yep. No, go up by the cross on the sand dune. It'll blow your mind up there. We have hundreds and hundreds of science lessons with a spiritual application. And we talked about this last time. No, the fens, the swamp. It's not where I wanted to be. Whack an atheist. Let's see. And we believe dinosaurs lived with man. Hang on, let me get Eugenie Scott. Oh, I remember what I was going to say there. Yeah, duh. I wanted that in there. Calm down, folks. Okay, let's see. Calm down right here. We did a series, my video series, seminar series, creation seminar series, 18 hours. Video number 3 is about dinosaurs that may still be alive. It says in the book of Job, Behemoth lives in the swamp, the reeds and fens. The biggest swamp in the world is in the middle of Africa right there. Most Americans don't have a clue how big Africa is. Here is America next to Africa. Africa is huge. That swamp, just the swamp, is bigger than any one of those yellow states. A swamp bigger than Alabama. And it is 80% unexplored to this day. Missionaries in the swamp tell me that there are small dinosaurs still alive. Eugene Thomas was there for years as a missionary. He said he had pygmies in his church that helped kill one. They call it Mokele Mbembe. Now, let's see. Bronze ice cream, that's not it. Okay, shoes from the Congo, African immigrant lady. Anyway, I got a ton of stuff on people who claim they've seen it. Anyway, I talked to Justin Blake. He makes the plywood dinosaur pieces you put together, that you can buy for a puzzle for Christmas for your kids. Contact him or contact our office here if you want to get it. I said, Justin, for you to make a life-size model of Mokele Mbembe out of steel frame and fiberglass and paint it up to look just like that with the spear sticking in it and everything, what would that cost? He said, well, Brother Hovind, it's about $2,000 for all the material. I'll do it for free. Then we got to transport it from Michigan. Let's figure about $3,000. We get one of these made to put in our lake here at Dinosaur Adventure Land. Rex, I've seen all 17 lakes. None of them have a dinosaur sticking out like that. We need one. So if you want to help us get a dinosaur model, send $3,000 and we'll go to Justin, go build it. Or you can email my secretary or call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1. Okay, here we are. Today, Eugenie Scott. Now, coming up in 2 weeks, Thanksgiving, we're going to go 3 days in a row and pig out. Well, turkey out, okay? And pig out, yeah. So if you want to come join us, please. If you don't have family for Thanksgiving, come join our family, all right? Let's see. Hamas did a surprise attack, killed 1,400 men. Israel responded. What did you expect them to do, okay? Atheists are constantly attacking Christians, like Eugenie Scott. Somebody please shut off whatever's doing that, okay? Okay. Eugenie Scott is a physical anthropologist. She is opposing the teaching of young earth creationism and intelligent design in schools. She did run an organization in Berkeley, California, where their purpose is to keep creation out of schools. Eugenie Scott, I've debated all kinds of them. I mean, atheists attack us. What do you expect? We're going to respond, okay? Eugenie Scott, opposing the teaching of young earth creation and intelligent design in schools. She served as the executive director of the National Center for Science Education. Well, Jeannie, science is what we can observe, study, test, demonstrate. Evolution has nothing to do with science, nothing, okay? Science education. I'm in favor of science education. I taught science 15 years. I love it. Evolutionary science, well, no, those two words don't go together. There's no science behind evolution. Evolution's a religious belief. You want to believe you came from a rock? Okay, believe what you want. Okay, so let's see. Biological anthropology, University of Missouri. She's a research done in human medical anthropology. And she's in favor of separation of church and state. Well, the founding fathers were not in favor of that, and our country is not founded on that. But if you really want that, then get evolution out of the schools, because evolution's a religion mixed in with the state-funded religion is what it is. Okay. She's a member of the Board of Advisors of Scientific American. Well, I like science, but evolution isn't part of it, guys. I'll debate all of you at Scientific American at the same time. There's no evidence for your dumb religion. She's on the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. Well, why don't you get skeptical of evolution? And then I had to look up what GWUP is, the German skeptic group, but the Glassenschnaffer, Wissenhoffen, all that stuff, okay? All right. She worked to prevent creationism from being taught in public schools. See, some states passed a law that said you have to give equal time to creation and evolution. They took that all the way to the Supreme Court, now watch this, to require teaching creation. Supreme Court struck it down, said you cannot require creation be taught. They brought the wrong subject before the court. The question is not, should we require creation or should we get equal time? The question is simply, well, first of all, should we have public schools? If we're going to have them, then they should only teach science. They should not teach evolution or creation. Neither can be proven scientifically. I think it's logical, but technically, science is what we can observe, study, and test. I didn't see God create. So evolution should be taken out also. They should get lies out of the text, but they brought the wrong case to the court. But anyway, court ruled you cannot require teaching creation, and Eugenie Scott and her Berserkly organization was very heavily involved in that. So I did a radio debate with Eugenie Scott. This has got to be 20-some years ago. Somebody posted it 11 years ago on their channel here, Jesus Lost Children. Let's see. A lot of people have posted this debate. Here is another radio debate, 139,000 views on their channel, National Center for Science Education. Jeannie published it there. Eugenie Scott destroys Kent Hovind. Guess who published that one? Junior. He's confused about the 47 genders, isn't he? Poor guy. Junior, okay. Kent Hovind versus Eugenie Scott, whack an atheist. Junior again, he just loves to. I have built his whole channel. He'd be nothing without me, okay? Kent Hovind's worst debate moments. Junior again. There we go. Here we go. Kent Hovind discusses creation with Eugenie Scott, a radio discussion. Kent Hovind gets shredded by Dr. Eugene Scott. Really? Dave. Did I debate that name sounds rings a bell. Delflower? Anyway, if not, I'll do it again. Okay, I'll do it. Blast from the past. Eugenie Scott accepts Playboy Award. Or refrain from comment. Okay. Why Darwin matters. Eugenie Scott at Evolution Palooza. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Kent Hovind versus Berkeley University, California. I spoke in front of the whole university. And any questions you got? What was that, 2.5 hours? Come on, guys, bring me back out there to Berserkly. I'll take you all on same time. So, Eugenie Scott versus Kent Hovind. Many thousands of views. Some of the comments at the bottom. It's amazing to see Kent has literally not changed a single one of his talking points for decades. Well, the mind illuminated? Truth doesn't change. I was teaching the truth back then. I'm still teaching the truth now. Cows make cows. That's all anybody's ever seen. You want to put a chart with a line between a cow and a mosquito, you just enjoy your drawing lines on paper. But that's not science. 28 years later, Kent hasn't changed a syllable of his script. Well, probably a couple syllables in 28 years, but anyway. 2 + 2 is 4, regardless. Likewise, truth never changes. Why should he change his arguments? Yep, okay. Because his arguments are based on wrong science to begin with. Well, the mind darkened. Let me show me some specifics. Where on earth am I wrong? Be specific now, okay? Let's see. When you begin with a conclusion and move the goalpost to accommodate for that, you have left the realm of science. Well, that's what atheism and evolution do. Okay. Evolutionists move the goalpost all the time. So let's go back to Jeannie and let her talk here. Get it? Look at that. Introduce. Now, at the beginning, there's a little glitch with her. They didn't have the sound set up. They had to hang the headphones on the speaker. Take about a minute to get that solved. Okay.
We're sitting here in Charlotte, North Carolina, to have a radio debate with Dr. Eugenie Scott from California. It'll start in just a few moments. It's supposed to go who knows how long. I'm speaking at Denver Baptist Church tonight, tomorrow night. We thought we'd just videotape this radio debate and see how this turns out, so folks can get a feel of what it's like to have to debate with these folks who believe in evolution. That's at WBT, 11:10 a.m. It is now 3:10 in the afternoon.
It was a radio show. By the way, I just did one at 6 o'clock tonight. If you would call your local radio station, or I'd like to be on 5 channels a day. I'll take on debates or just talk on creation, explain creation. So if each of you that loves our ministry, call your local radio stations and say, would you have Kent Hovind on as a guest? Have them call Joseph, 855 BIG-DINO, extension 4, or email tech support at drdino.com. And Joseph does the booking of these programs. Do you have any more this week, brother? Another one tomorrow. Please help me get on more of these. Okay, let's see here. Jeannie.
And we're ready to start.
Oh boy, it was a busy weekend for me. I don't know about you. Part of it was catching the bit. We'll talk about that later, though. More about that later. We've been talking about this for a couple of days, too, getting everybody ready for this. A couple of months ago, Dr. Kent Hovind joined us on the air when he was in town to speak at the Concord Bible Church. And he is back tonight and tomorrow night to speak at the, it'll come to me, help me out here, at the Denver Baptist Church up on Lake Norman, about 30 miles north of Charlotte Highway 16, tonight and tomorrow from 7 to 9. Dr. Hovind is a creationist. He became a Christian at the age of 16, and although you have a scientific background, that you were, I believe, a science teacher, is that correct?
Yes, sir, high school science teacher.
You came to disbelieve what the theories of science were teaching.
Well,
why don't you tell me what?
I came to disbelieve evolution, but evolution has nothing to do with science. I still love science.
See, 20 years ago, still teaching the same thing. Atheists, evolution is not science. It's a religious belief.
I'm in favor of science, but it's just evolution that's stirred in with science that I disbelieve.
And have since done a lot of your own research in this and have come up with presentations that you take around the country to show the veracity of creationism versus the theory of evolution.
Right? Yes, sir. That's
the
right.
last time that you were here, you volunteered to come back, and you've also volunteered to debate with an evolutionist. And so we have contacted one, and she's joining us today from California. Dr. Eugenie Scott has been since 1987 the executive director of the National Center for Science Education Incorporated. It's a pro-evolution, nonprofit science education organization with members in every state. Dr. Eugenie Scott holds a PhD in physical anthropology from the University of Missouri. She was taught at the University of Kentucky, the University of Colorado, and in the California State University system. She's a human biologist. Her research has been in medical anthropology and skeletal biology, and she has worked nationwide to communicate the scientific method to the general public and to include how science as a way of knowing is taught in school. She has appeared on Our Magazine, Geraldo, Crossfire, Issues on Trial, the Morning Edition on NPR, the Pat Buchanan Show, and All Things Considered, etc., etc. And she joins us this afternoon. Thank you. I'm not exactly sure how we'll begin, but I guess we'll begin with the basic argument. And the basic argument is that scientists, or some scientists, believe that the world was not created precisely the way it's spelled out in the book of Genesis, but creationists believe literally in the book of Genesis. Is that pretty much the argument we have here?
Well, there are probably quite a few creationists who would still not believe the literal Genesis account. They would maybe say God did it, but not according to the book of Genesis. So there's a variety of creationists. I am a Bible-believing young earth creationist. I believe the Bible is literally true, scientifically accurate, and that the world is less than 10,000 years old.
And Doctor, what do the evolutionists say? Dr. Scott.
Did that speaker on? You can't hear her. Put that by the microphone.
Retreat with a bunch of United Church of Christ ministers, and I assure you, every single one of those ladies who does creation, every single one of them accepted evolution as the way God chose to bring about the world. I would say that the distinction, and perhaps Kent, you might agree with me on this, the distinction between creation and evolution is not whether God created, because certainly God could have created any way he wanted to, including through evolution, if that's the way he chose. The distinction really is a question of history. What happened in the history of the universe? Did everything appear suddenly all at one time, as a literal reading of the Bible of Genesis would suggest? Or does the universe have a history? Did change take place since the beginning, whenever that beginning occurred? I think it is clear that the vast majority of the scientific community agree that change has taken place since the beginning.
Here we have the argument from majority opinion, which is always a lousy argument. The majority of Germans followed Hitler. The majority of Chinese believe communism is good. The majority of the people in Iran think Islam is good. Okay, the majority means never. That's not a good argument. So if the majority of scientists believe something, that might just be they've been through the same propaganda system, or if they don't believe it, they lose their job. The argument for majority opinion is lousy. And we all agree there have been changes, Jeannie, but the changes are limited. You turn all the dogs in the world loose in Alaska. After a couple of years, the only ones left are the ones that have the thick fur that they can stand the cold weather. Evolution didn't create anything. They already had fur. Didn't give them a central heating system. So changes, you got to define, what do you mean by that? Yes, there are changes, but they're limited to the same kind. God said 24 times in the first 7 chapters they would bring forth after their kind. That's all anybody's ever seen. So let Jeannie talk here for a while.
What we see today in the world is not the same as what has been in the past.
That was exactly what was prophesied in 2 Peter chapter 3. The scoffers are going to say, well, the way things are happening today is the way they've always been happening, uniformitarianism. This is their religion, okay?
Well, I would have to say that we need to define our terms here. Evolution, the word simply means unrolling or outrolling or rolling out. I know there's a lot of varieties of it, but change through time. And I agree, there have been changes through time, but there is cosmic evolution, which is the bigger scheme of things, the Big Bang Theory, the universe starting from nothing.
Right.
And then there is biological evolution, which is changes once life gets here, then there are changes. And what I object to, I guess, is the general theory of evolution, that the entire universe made itself out of nothing for no apparent reason, and that no creator is necessary. I would say that a real strict definition would make evolution atheistic.
Well, Ken, I don't see how you can say that, because evolution is a science, and a science cannot be atheist.
See, she tried to slip that in. Evolution is a science. You got to stop them every time. No, evolution is something you believe in. Capital B, believe. Nobody ever sees a cow produce a non-cow. Never. You believe it. Stop calling it a science.
Theistic or pro-religious, a science has to be neutral toward religion.
And what I hear you, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Dr. Scott, what I heard you saying in your opening comments was the fact that, at least what I gathered, was the two are not necessarily mutually exclusive. That
the thing about science is a particular way of knowing. Revelation is another way of knowing. There's a variety of ways of knowing. Science is a particular way of knowing that is restricted. In science, we're trying to understand a restricted phenomenon, which is the natural world, and we have restrictions on how we go about understanding that phenomenon.
Well, now let me ask you this, because it's called the theory of evolution.
Correct.
So if it is, in fact, a fact, why is it referred to as the theory of evolution?
It's both. What do you think, when you hear the word gravity, what do you think of?
Newton. I guess the theory of gravity, right?
Correct. Gravity is a theory. Evolution is a theory. Theory in science is a term of art. It means a special thing within science that it doesn't mean on the street, so to speak. Not the same as the way a scientist uses it. The word theory in science means explanation. And gravity is...
Well, technically, hypothesis is a wild guess. Theory is an explanation that has some evidence to support it. It's not proven yet, but there's a lot of evidence. There's no evidence to support evolution. At best, it's a hypothesis. It's a religion. There's not a theory at all. There's no evidence to support it. None. Brother, I'm getting more wrinkles, aren't I? What happened? Oh, well, I've invested my whole life in this. What have you invested your life in? last 30 years.
Explanation for why things fall to the earth when you drop them. Evolution is an explanation for a wide variety of information, things from the fossil record, from biogeography, from biochemistry, from geology, from lots and lots of different areas. And to say that evolution is a theory merely means that it is a well-founded explanation, the best explanation we've got so far, and the one that is accepted thus far.
Now, both of you have scientific backgrounds, so it would seem to me that science is open to question, open to revelation. So therefore, if 10 years from now, you discovered something in your scientific research, either of you, that would dispute the theory of evolution, or evolution rather, or would dispute your theory of creationism, would either of you be open to change?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, I would.
An excellent question, and I would actually like to ask Kent what kind of data would refute young Earth special creation. I've never been able, when I've asked this of other young Earth special creationists, I've never been able to get an answer that is actually testable. Can you give me an example of what kind of data would cause you to rethink whether the world was created all at one time and all of the plants and animals in their present form?
Yes, you mentioned a key word there, testable. I think you made a statement a few minutes ago that evolution is a science. I would object to that vehemently. Evolution is a philosophy. It's actually a religion.
Let's talk about the science first.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what I want to distinguish between. See, evolution is not science. It's a religion that people choose to believe in.
But Kent, what kind of data would cause you to give up your conclusion that the literal view of the Bible, that all the plants and animals were created in their present form a short period of time ago within thousands of years?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I never said in their present form. They can change. There have been a lot of changes. There's now, 12,000 varieties of pine trees. Some have adapted to cold climate, some warm climate, some acid soil, some alkali soil. Still pine trees. So I didn't say that nothing's ever changed, but the changes have limits. This is where they confuse everybody, right there.
What data would cause you to give that idea up?
Yeah, I will get to that in a second, but we got a couple things hanging that I think are very preliminary to this. The definition of science is not a way of knowing. You'll notice in the last 20 years, there's been a real tendency in the textbooks to change the definition of science to what she said earlier. Science is a way of knowing. You look it up in a dictionary, science is the accumulated body of knowledge that we have. It's things that we know. The scientific method involves things that are observable, testable, and demonstratable. Evolution is none of those. Nobody observes it happening. We don't observe any major changes. We don't see a horse, coming from a butterfly. We don't see.
Evolutionists would never predict that.
Sure. Well, they predict it did happen over a long period of time.
Hardly. I don't think anybody's predicted that horses came from butterflies. I think.
Well, they say horses and butterflies came from a common ancestor, don't they, on their family tree? Everything came from that amoeba. Yeah, you do believe horses and butterflies are related. Not one came from the other, but they all came from an amoeba.
Somebody's misled you about what evolution is, if that's the case.
Do you believe? Wait a minute. Wait. Do you believe?
Introduce this to.
Okay. Do you believe fish gradually changed to amphibians? Amphibians changed to reptiles. Reptiles changed to mammals.
Actually, that's not the way it happened. But we keep getting distracted here, Mr. Collins. The question I asked, which we sort of haven't been able to get to, is what kind of data would Kent accept that would demonstrate to him that all plants and animals did not occur suddenly all at one time within the last couple thousand years?
All right, let me jump in here. I'd like Dr. Hovind, if you would answer that question. I will come back and we'll all have her answer how evolution happened. If it didn't happen the way you just described, with fish becoming amphibians, amphibians becoming reptiles, reptiles becoming mammals, we'll find out how it did happen.
Yeah, which is ultimately what they believe. That and life coming from non-life. But okay. In order for something to be scientific, it has to be observable, testable, demonstratable. There is no way this argument is going to be resolved scientifically. You can't offer data that proves the Earth is billions of years old because you were not there, I was not there, nobody you know was there. It is outside the realm of science. This idea of proving the Earth is young or old is simply impossible scientifically. It's not testable, it's not demonstratable. The problem is there are two different ways to look at things, and some people, they interpret the facts in light of their philosophy. The evolutionists have already decided the Earth is billions of years old, and so when they look at the fossil record, they see those different layers of rocks as being different ages. The creationist looks at the different layers of rocks, the same data, we're both staring at the same geologic formations, and creationist comes to the conclusion that all of these rock layers were deposited very rapidly in a catastrophe, the worldwide flood. So we both have the same data, but we're coming to opposite conclusions based on our prejudices, our preconceived ideas.
So what you're saying then is there are no data that would cause you to reject your point of view because your scientific creationism really isn't scientific.
Well, neither is evolution. You mentioned in the letter that you
We're talking
faxed
about evolution here. We're talking about you. We'll get back to evolution in a second.
No, I agree.
What you're saying is that scientific creationism is not scientific.
I agree. There's no possible way to prove it scientifically.
Why do you guys keep trying to get it taught in the public school science classes if it's not?
Why do you keep getting your religion taught in the public school science classes? Why did you call it the Center for Science Inquiry or something like that? There's nothing scientific about evolution. But what she does, the atheists are good at this. You got to watch this. They try to keep the burden of proof on us to prove creation. We're not demanding it be taught in schools. The burden of proof not on us. It's on them. It's called shifting the burden of proof because they know they can't prove theirs. Theirs is a religion. Let's just go a few more minutes and then we'll take questions, brother. I got how many hours of debates are on the internet about me? Hundreds, bunch of them. Okay, a few more minutes here. Oh, what happened? There.
Science, it shouldn't be taught.
Well, see, that's to prove the point. Evolution isn't science either, and it shouldn't be
Now
taught.
let's talk about whether evolution is scientific. First of all, you have an exceedingly narrow definition of what science is. If we had to refer to things scientific as only those which were directly testable, directly observable, we'd have a pretty short list of sciences that we could talk about. For example, particle physics. Nobody has seen an atom. Nobody can observe the particles that are smashing into each other in an atom smasher.
Oh, I agree. Sure.
So therefore, particle physics is not science.
No, there is a lot of theory in particle physics. An awful lot of theory.
But hey.
Let's skip up just a minute because this goes on. They always try to shift the burden of proof to us, okay? And they don't want the light shined on them. Where's the evidence for evolution? Oh, well, where's the evidence for creation? They'll shift it right back rather than answer the question. Stick by my guns. There is no evidence of any animal ever changing to a different kind. And there is no fossil record, and there is no geologic column. And you can prove scientifically, I believe, the Earth is not billions of years old. Cannot possibly be. Cover that on video number 1. A couple more thoughts here, and we'll see, and we'll take questions from the audience here. Anyway, if you want to watch this debate, this is at least 20, 25 years old, I think. I don't remember.
The parents and grandparents and great-great-grandparents of the species. Now, if we look at the fossil record, what we see is a very definite pattern. We see at the beginning very simple organisms.
See the two assumptions she's got here. At the beginning, they're assuming the layers are different ages, and they can't be. If the top layer is younger, where did it come from? So they look at the fossils we find in the rock layers and then put the assumption that the lower ones are older than the upper ones, and there's the problem. All the layers formed at one time. None of the fossils in those layers talk. None of them have a date stamped on them. It's their interpretation being put on these fossils. There is no fossil record. And just because you see one down here that looks different than one above it, this doesn't mean the one above it is the baby of the one below it. It doesn't mean anything. Fossils might be sorted based upon their body density, their habitat, their intelligence, their mobility. There's lots of other reasons. We cover that on video number 4, Lies in the Textbooks. Get that one. Okay, we got questions coming in, and I don't want to go all night on this, but you can, Jeannie, I would love to debate you again anytime. Please call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3, or send I'll do it on your channel, my channel, the National Center for Science, Smith's Education. I'll do it on your channel, on Standing for Truth channel. I'll debate, hey, is Skip still working there? When I went to visit their headquarters in Berkeley, I went in and to see, they have a little bookstore kind of thing. I'm in there walking around seeing all their atheist books. And this guy walked by and he looked at me kind of funny. He walked by again, looked at me. A couple times he kept walking by. Finally, he walked up. He said, are you Kent Hovind? I said, yes, sir. He said, you're standing in our building. That's because I can't fly. He said, oh, no. When I left, someone told me they taped a piece of paper on the floor. Kent Hovind stood here. And every time they'd go through their bookstore, they'd do some kind of hex on me or something. I don't know. Skip, you're still working there, son. I'll debate you too, anytime. Okay, questions coming in. Go ahead. Mokli and Bembe have a flickery snake-like tongue. I don't think I've ever heard anybody describe the tongue on the dinosaur. I don't know. Go to Congo, Africa, if you can survive out there, and see if you can catch one. Find out what kind of tongue they got. I got no idea. Okay, does metamorphosis support evolution? Metamorphosis would be like a caterpillar changing into a butterfly. No, that's all pre-programmed. That's a really complicated code for that caterpillar to curl up in a cocoon and come out later as a butterfly, backwards, most of them. Metamorphosis is amazing. That's great evidence of creation. Has to be designed to come out like that. Okay? First-time Bible reader. Can you ask Kent why sometimes we feel close to God, but sometimes we feel distant, and how to fix it? Well, it's very simple. Were there times when you felt close to your mom and dad, other times you felt distant from mom and dad? Was it because you were disobeying behind their back? And if you want to feel close to mom and dad, you obey their authority, you try to be a good boy or good girl, and you try to stay close to mom and dad. When you get born into God's family, it's very, very similar. You want to stay close to God, keep your heart clean. Keep your sins confessed. When you mess up, you say, Dad, I'm sorry. Heavenly Father, I'm sorry. Okay, come on, son. He wants to be close to you. I bet your dad and mom wanted to be close to their kids. Okay? So God wants to be close to his children. It's usually, if you're no longer close to God, guess who moved? It wasn't God, okay? He hasn't moved. It's us. So we need to get, it's one of the simple secrets of Christian life is reading the book, memorizing it, think about it. Have Bible verses on the dash of your car or on your, I don't know, put them all over the place. Instead of, some people, as soon as they get in their car, they flip on the radio to get distracted with somebody else do their thinking for them. I don't ever turn on I don't even know how to turn on the radio on my car. Don't want to learn. I want to do my own thinking. That's my meditation time when I'm driving. I don't want to be entertained. So some people, the thought of being without some entertainment external drive them crazy. Shut all that off. Spend time talking to the Lord. Just shut it off. Okay? Hope that helps. Crybaby, is he still alive? I am surprised. Why do you always show trees of life from children's textbooks instead of phylogenetic trees based on morphology, anatomy, behavior, DNA, characteristics of fossils? Well, let's see. Crybaby, let me get this. What happened here? Okay. Oh, there it is. It'll take me a minute now. I show the family trees. They are found in all kinds of textbooks. Let me get a biology textbook from college. Here we go. Here is Raven, Johnson, Mason, Lose, Duncan, I believe 2020. I think that's a college textbook, 12th edition. Let's see. Do they have a family tree in here? House cells, family tree. I probably have how many biology textbooks in here? 90? Okay. Let me go to the back and try index instead. Family tree. Just for you, Crybaby. Just for you. We love you around here. We got your picture up here. Billy, can you focus on that up there? Crybaby. With the pacifier and everything. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We love you, Crybaby. Let's see. Up there. Right there. Family. That's Crybaby. Yeah, up there. Yeah, there he is. Zoom in on Crybaby while I find family tree. Family resemblance, 490. Let's see. I don't know if this is going to be it or not. It's got 1,000, 1,500 pages in this book. Oh, family tree of birds, family tree of snakes. Here's a family tree. Showing the snake, the shark, the salamander, the gorilla, and the human having a common ancestor. Is that good? Let's see. Let's try another one here. Oh, here's a family tree of, they got the different kinds of trees. The spruce, species D, A, B, C, all these trees going to a common ancestor. That's reasonable. Let's see. Here they have, oh, now look at this one. Crybaby. Isn't that a pretty family tree? With the squirrels and the trees. I mean, everybody knows squirrels and trees are related. Oh, this is just dividing up the kingdom, phylum, class, or family. Now, here's a family tree. The bat and the turtle had a common ancestor with a giraffe. Yeah, anybody can see the similarity. If you can't see the similarity between a giraffe and a bat, something's wrong with you, okay? Yeah, family trees. So what is exactly you want, Crybaby? They teach it in all the books. It's dumb. It's lines on paper. It's not science. And whether it's grade school, high school, college, it's all the same. These family trees, put my slides up there, brother. Family trees are lines on paper. They're propaganda. They're baloney. They're not true. There is no evidence that a worm and a frog and a ladybug have a common ancestor. Why do you teach this stuff and call it science? It's not. It's a religious belief. These family trees are found in all the books. If it'll help you, I'll get more pictures of a bunch more from the textbooks. College level, at PhD level, they still are teaching the dumb religion of evolution. Okay, a couple more questions here, brother. Have you read King James' book on demonology? No, have not. Haven't heard of that one. Did King James write a book? I don't think he wrote any books. He paid for the King James Bible to be translated, but he didn't actually write any books that I know of. Okay. What are some examples of evidence atheists would say change their view? I've never seen anyone willing to change their view for anything. They like that theory. It gives them freedom from God. Who wouldn't want a theory like that? So I don't know of any evidence they'd look at. Okay. If Jesus was not resurrected, doesn't that mean his bones would still be on earth? Well, good point. And of course, not finding somebody's bones isn't proof of anything, but probably a lot of people have died and nobody found their bones. Wouldn't it be great if young Kent in this video was watching a video of Kent now? Oh boy, he'd say, "What happened? You got all wrinkled up." At least there's smile wrinkles. Yeah, I like them. I'll be 71 in a couple of weeks. Love it. Okay. Let's see. Any tips on building faith further? Great. Let's see. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. This is the secret right here. Read it. When you're done, read it again. When you're done, read it again. And if you teach it to others, start a Bible school class. If you're a brand new Christian, you've only been saved a couple of months, start teaching the Bible to a bunch of 5-year-olds or 10-year-olds. As you prepare to teach your lesson, it'll really drive you deep. Okay? And teaching, you'll learn a whole lot more than the kids will. I'd been saved a couple of months, and my preacher said, "Kent, I'd like you to teach the 5th grade boys Sunday school class." I said, "I've been saved a couple of months. I'm 16 years old." He said, "Perfect. You got the job." Tell you what, that was the best thing ever happened to me. Teaching that 5th grade boys Sunday school class made me dig into the Bible to get ready for my class. If you're not teaching something, when I went to prison, I held Bible study 4 times a day. Right there. Come on, anybody want to listen? And the guys loved it. So teach somebody else. If you only know a couple things, well, teach what you do know, okay? Then you'll want to learn more. That's the best thing. Build your faith. Okay, Sunshine. If we are related to a giraffe, why don't we have their DNA in a 23andMe gender test? I don't know. I don't want to be a giraffe. Do you know how giraffes get excited before they mate?
Yeah.
He tastes her urine. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. He really did write it. It's interesting. He wrote a short essay on smoking. King James did. Okay. I don't know. Gail Ripplinger might know. avpublications.com. Check with them. All right. Any more?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good. Thank you, folks. Jeannie, I'll debate you again. I'd love to anytime. I'd like to win you to the Lord. You're getting, 78 years old now. You might want to be thinking about what comes next. Okay. But please get me on radio programs, TV programs, YouTube channels. Contact anybody that's out there and say, "Would you have Kent Hovind on as a guest?" I'd like to do a bunch of them every day. That way I get to sit right here in my comfy chair. Okay. Joseph, you can have it. Come visit Dinosaur Adventure Land. It's free. Debbie, you leaving when? Tomorrow? Friday. Okay. How you liking it so far? And it's just something magic about this place, isn't there? It's like God is here. It's true. Okay. See you tomorrow.